Kipushi, a landmark on the Central African Copperbelt for generations, is a historic project like few others in the world of mining. For much of the last century, Kipushi wore the crown of the world's richest copper and zinc mine. It was launched as the Prince Leopold mine in 1924, during the region's colonial era, in what later became the Democratic Republic of Congo. Kipushi produced 60 million tons of ore, with an astounding average grade of 11% zinc and 7% copper, that yielded 6.6 million tons of zinc and 4 million tons of copper. The mine also turned out 12,673 tons of lead and approximately 278 tons of germanium, before circumstances forced a halt to production in 1993. Happily, a vast amount of untapped ore remains in the ground, and now Kipushi is being readied for a renewed life.
Just before Gécamines ceased production more than 20 years ago at Kipushi, they discovered a high-grade zinc deposit just below the level of mining that they were operating at the time, at about the 1,200-meter level. They never mined it. The mine closed. So when Ivanhoe assumed control of the mine, the objective was to go back and confirm these resources and try and expand them, to confirm the grade, to confirm the extent of the big zinc, and also to explore for new high-grade resources of copper and zinc. So Ivanhoe planned a 20,000-meter drill program, but because of the excitement around the results that we generated, we ended up drilling more than 25,000 meters. That drill program ran from March 2014 through October 2015, and exceeded our expectations. We more than doubled the size of the big zinc, and we found exceptionally new high-grade copper, zinc, silver, and germanium resources as well.
In January 2016, we had an independent mineral resource declared. At a 7% cutoff, there was just over 10 million tons, at just under 35% zinc in measured and indicated, and a further 1.9 million tons, 28% zinc in inferred. This more than doubles the previously declared historic numbers for the big zinc at Kipushi. Our primary focus has been on the zinc mineralization, but while drilling, we do intersect a number of the high-grade copper zones. There's significant upside on the copper that we're yet to explore, but at this time we have declared 1.6 million tons of measured and indicated at a grade of 4% copper, and a further 1.6 million tons at 3.3% copper in inferred. The mineralizing system at Kipushi creates very distinct changes in grade. You can get very high-grade zinc zones immediately adjacent to relatively barren dolomite. And associated with this is a very sharp change in the density values. And this makes the big zinc very amenable to a process known as dense media separation. It's cheap to run, cheap to install, very simple, but it's very efficient. With these density contrasts, any dolomite that occurs within the big zinc can effectively be removed during the processing. And this allows the resource grade of 35% zinc to be upgraded to a concentrate grade of 55% zinc.
With these resource grades, the average planned zinc concentrate production of 530,000 dry tons per annum is expected to rank Kipushi among the world's major zinc mines.
These grades set Kipushi apart. There's no other mine that is going to be producing grades like this for zinc. In fact, Kipushi is more than double the next highest grade zinc project.
Over the past 5 years, Ivanhoe Mines have done an enormous amount of work here in Kipushi. We own 68% of this project, and the remaining 32% are owned by the state-owned enterprises Gécamines. When we acquired this mine in 2011, it was flooded up to 850-meter level, and ever since our teams have worked tirelessly to dewater the shaft and the tunnels, and rehabilitate underground and surface infrastructure, and resume exploration.
As you can see, I'm standing next to one of the newly installed pumps. These pumps are capable of pumping the water directly to surface. Previously, when we did the dewatering of the mine, we had a total of 52 pumps pumping in a cascade system, water to surface through the old secondary shafts. That enabled us to start the exploration drilling program. But going forward into production, we need a much more reliable system.
During the dewatering process, the machine shop did refurbish a surface pump also the submersible pumps. For example, I can tell you that during that period, we did refurbish more than 190 kilowatt flight pumps.
We are standing in 1200 level substation. You can see the newly installed switchgear behind me. The P5 shaft upgrades mainly consist of shaft steel infrastructure upgrades. The man hoist upgrade, which consists of the mechanical brake control and brake system, electronic speed and safety control systems. The rock hoist is undergoing the same upgrades at the moment. Underground infrastructure is the upgrade of the 1150 ore handling system, the crusher and silo feed conveying system, and the loadyard system. Once all these systems are in place, it will enable us to start mining.
We did refurbish all the steel structure in the shaft, king posts, buntings, platforms, ladders.
Zinc is the fourth most common metal used in industrial applications, next to iron, aluminium, copper. Most of the use is actually in corrosion resistance in steel and iron plating, alloys like brass, but there's also an emerging use for fertilization of zinc-deficient crops. Ivanhoe's advantage here is both in terms of the economics of refurbishment rather than rebuilding a new mine, and in terms of the international commodity markets. Now, if you look at about a 5-year timeline on the zinc price, international zinc price, that from about 2012 to about 2014, the price was fairly constant. Then we had the worldwide slump in all commodities, and zinc is the one that's fastest recovering of all the commodities. Preliminary economic assessment, or PEA, for the Kipushi zinc ore body demonstrated a very positive economic case for redevelopment of the mine. The fact that we can refurbish all of that infrastructure rather than building new is a tremendous financial advantage in redeveloping the project.
The Kipushi project is economically significant for the DRC. We currently employ 400 people who are very grateful to see that the uncertainty which started when this mine stopped producing in 1994, that is now changed through a new hope, optimism, and a fresh outlook. So we are very grateful to the local community. We look forward to working with the people so that we get Kipushi back into production and start writing the next chapter of the long and meaningful history of Kipushi.